Hey there, this is K4A Knowledge for All educational videos and tutorials. In this video today we are going to learn how to move, scale and rotate objects in 3D models in Nomad Sculpt with Gizmo, which is I guess called move, rotate, scale Gizmo. If not, we're going to find how it's called later in Nomad Sculpt help and rename the video that way. But anyway, that's what we're going to learn today, how to move, scale and rotate all of those models which we have created on our scene. Why would you like to do that in first place? Because so far we have created all of the objects on the scene, but they are overlapping. Sometimes it doesn't make sense to have them overlapping. You want them separated, one on the left, another on the right, one in the middle, one on the top of each other, and so on. This way it doesn't work. They all cluttered, messed up one on another, and you even cannot sculpt on them. Even if you want to sculpt on anything, like here for example, I want to sculpt on the left side on this sphere, I cannot do that because I don't see it. I'm seeing a box here where I want to see my left side of the sphere, and so on. So it's very simple why you're going to need this sooner or later. So let's see how to do it. In previous video we have learned how to add primitives, how to select those by clicking on them, and how now to move those, to scale those, to rotate those is simply by going to the left of your screen, then going a little bit down where you will find the Gizmo icon. It's below the hide and mask and smooth and sub and so on. So it's some kind of circle with a circle or sphere in it, and it says Gizmo, which is very nice in terms of when you compare it with the first top left menu, where you don't see the names of the buttons, or your right top menu where you don't see the names of the buttons, which I guess is cool if you like minimalism and don't want things to pop up all the time. But for beginners I guess it should be some kind of hover over effect with turn on, turn off in settings later maybe. Anyway, click on this Gizmo icon and it will open that same icon but on the screen. It looks a little bit complex, but actually it isn't. It's complex because you have all the options at the same time here given to you, so you can choose whatever you want at the same time, which is very nice and very fast. But again, for a beginner it can be confusing or scary. So we will start with moving first, which is those arrows. You can see different colors, so I'm not going to talk about colors much at the first, but more at those helpers. So concentrate on finding those arrows. As you can see, those lines, as you can see, even if I zoom in or out and this circle becomes, it seems like it becoming bigger or smaller, but actually the model is becoming a bigger or smaller. The Gizmo is staying more or less the same, right? So I cannot turn those lines bigger or smaller to make it easier for you. You will have to find them on your own. I will just show you one way to do it, but again, try it as many times until you do it yourself. So I have the blue arrow pointing to me when I'm in front. I have a red arrow pointing to the right and the green arrow pointing to the top. Those represent X, Y and Z coordinates, and don't worry about those. Now I'm just telling you that info if you're more interested and more versed in 3D modeling and mathematics. But all you have to know is that when you click on one of those, I will click on the red one, hold and drag, your 3D model which you have selected before will move on that axis, and it's constrained to that axis only. So I wanted to move my sphere out of the way. I clicked on it and then moved it to the right. A sphere is maybe not the best example because I'm going to use the rotate, so I will click Ctrl Z on my keyboard to undo it, and I will select my cone instead. Yeah, so cone selected. If you had sphere or cube, click on the cone to select it, then click on the gizmo, then repeat what we have just learned. Red arrow, move. So you see, it was very easy to do that. Let's click on the square to move it at the same axis, but this time to the left. Nice. Maybe a little bit more, and practice this couple of times. Also combine it sorry with your zoom in or zoom out to see things better, and pan and rotate. And again, I hope I have explained all of those things earlier very clear, but they will become clearer now when we learn these gizmo features. Why? Because when we have clicked on our keyboard on Alt and then left click on the screen, we have panning the whole scene. So we are not moving the objects, we're just panning like our camera, our view. It's like we as a person are moving left or right, our eyes, our camera. Same with left click and rotate, we are not rotating the objects, and same with Alt click, Alt release, in and out, we're zooming. But now with this gizmo tool we are learning same features but on objects, in terms of we are moving the object instead of panning the camera, we are rotating the object instead of rotating the camera, and we are scaling the object instead of zooming the camera. Huge difference. Again, you will have to try all of this to see how that works in your scene, and then it will be much clearer to you. Okay, so we have learned how to move it on red. Let's try a little bit the green arrow. So again, just click on the arrow and do not release, but move up and down to move your object up and down, and same with the blue one. But again, be very precise. You don't want to click on any of those circles, outer, inner, but we want to click on the arrow. If you cannot find that arrow fast and easy, just rotate your view until you can. Like, okay, here I see it clearly, and that's it. Okay, so that gizmo arrow is for moving. Let's see another one for scaling. For scaling, we have this outer ring, one ring only, which is great for us. We cannot miss it, we cannot choose any other, but actually we have three simple circles or spheres which are at the same position and with the same color as which we have learned and used before with our move tool. So that should help you to understand better and work better and faster. So this red one will scale on that axis, and you can, for example, create a sail for your boat like this. Undo. The blue one will scale on this axis only, and The green one will scale top to bottom, which you can make, so for example some kind of flat hat, yeah, like in Vietnam or Asia. Every time I need to, when I undo, I have to click on Gizmo again, so don't worry about that. So we have learned how to scale on X, Y and Z axis, but what if you want to scale this for example on all of three at the same time? So I want to scale this cone, this spike to be only bigger or smaller, but to remain the same look. I don't want to have it squashed. All you have to do is click, I think, on this outer ring, yeah, and it can then click do not release and make it bigger or smaller. It's a little bit tricky to do that, but I will make it smaller. So for example, I want to create a spike for my game, yeah. So I need this spike moved here on my sphere, so I will move it with my move gizmo, and you have to rotate it from different angles to see how it fits. It can be a hat or a spike or whatever. It looks nice, more or less. I will shove it into it a little bit here. Okay, nice. But I need that spike here at the sphere, like a nose or something like that, like Pinocchio. Okay, so I will need to rotate that spike. So again, if it's not selected, select it. Then go to Gizmo. We have learned how to move it, how to scale it, and for rotation we have this inner circle. And again, three possible options. The first one, which we need, I think, is the red, and you click and drag to rotate it like this. The blue one, and you also see how now my gizmo is rotated. You can also change that, but by default it's like that, and I guess it's more logical like this. It makes more sense. So we have rotated the cone with the red inner circle. Now let's try a blue one to see what happens. Okay, I don't need that. Now let's see the green one, and you see how it rotates by those shadows, more or less. You don't see the cone is not a good example. I will undo that. The cone is not a good example for that, and also that's why I said sphere is not a good example for rotation. But we can click on square, gizmo, and which one is it? The green one? Yeah, the green one. But anyway, whichever we choose here with the square, it will be visible that it rotates because of the edges, so you can see. So this way you can create any possible angle that you want for your primitive or 3D sculpt model. If you click on the middle circle, you can move it without constraints, and I think that's it. Yeah, we have tried all of those. So for example, if I wanted this spike to be like a nose, I have rotated it. Now I have to move it a little bit like this, and maybe scale it a little bit more. So scale, not rotation, but scale. yeah, the outer circle. Okay, scale, move a little bit more again, and as you can see, it's always up and down, back and forth until you are satisfied. If you want to scale that on one axis only, so for example, now it will be a little bit trickier to make it longer, yeah, and more pointer, yeah. So this is more like Pinocchio. Let's move this box away, and that's it. We have a Pinocchio start model. 16 minutes. Anyway, I think we will stop here. Only one or more things to show, and that is when we have learned to add new primitives, which you do by clicking on this third icon from the left. Scene, add. Before you select primitive which you want to add on your screen, you have a select Gizmo checkbox, which we haven't checked before, so we're going to check it now just to see that it's the same Gizmo as we have just learned a few moments ago. So before I add new cone, for example, for the head of my Pinocchio character, I will click on select Gizmo, cone, and now when I click on this button here, I have already my select Gizmo. Oops. And I can use it right away. Validate, and that's it. Yeah, I'm not sure if we have emphasized that when you add new primitive you have to click on validate. Anyway, if you don't click on that select Gizmo checkbox, it will create a primitive at the center of your scene like this. Validate. So all you have to do later is to click on Gizmo and move it manually. It's not a big deal again, but it's good to know. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Again, practice all of those things so far. They are actually very, very basics, and you are going to use them so many times on a daily basis. They are not like features or skills at all. They are just you navigating through this 3D space. See you in next video with more info. Bye for now.